Hi, I'm Mike Elston. I'm the executive chef at Mount Carmel Grove City Hospital. Today I'm going to show you how to make vegetarian stuffed peppers. You've probably heard the term mise en place before, and it's a French culinary term that means everything in its place that you need. So to start out our recipe today, I've reviewed those items to make sure that I have every ingredient and every pan or utensil that I need. I'm going to start out by showing you how to prepare the peppers first, because they're the star attraction of the show. We're going to remove the stem and the inside with the seeds from our pepper. On Halloween, you've probably taken the top off of a pumpkin, and we're going to do the same concept with this, with a paring knife and the pepper. That just slides right out. Then we're going to cut the pepper in half, lengthwise. There's still some seeds inside, and there's also some of the connective tissue right here. So I'm just going to take that off with my paring knife. We have to make a cavity that we're going to stuff with our filling later on. This inside part has a bitter taste to it. That's why you want to remove that too. And you can use different colored peppers. People eat with their eyes. So in this case, I've got 3 different colors. We've got red, green, and yellow. The green pepper actually has more of a bite to it. The other colored peppers, like orange too, and yellow, are really mild in flavor. And I've also got a pot of water that's boiling. We're going to blanch these for 3 minutes, because when you actually cook this recipe, you want to be able to bite through the pepper. If you just prepared it without blanching it ahead of time to soften the pepper, it's going to have too much of a crunch to it. So I'm going to place this into this pot of hot water. I'm going to let that cook for 3 minutes. I've got my pair of tongs ready at the end of 3 minutes to remove that from this pot of water. Let's imagine that I actually did that at this point. I would take it out of here and put it over on a paper towel that I have over here. We're going to blot it to dry out the pepper, because you don't want a lot of moisture in the pan when you're roasting the pepper. And you just take another piece of paper towel and pat it on the pepper, and you can see that it takes the moisture right off of the pepper. I've already done these ahead of time. I blanched these, and we're going to be moving on to the next step. The next step is to prepare our other fresh ingredients. There's going to be an onion that we're going to dice. We're going to have some cauliflower that we're going to make into a rice cauliflower. So to begin, I like to take my onion, I like to cut it in half lengthwise, leaving the root attached. Then it makes it easier to actually peel the skin off of your onion. And if it's a really picky onion, you can cut a little slit into that first layer of skin to help peel it off. We're going to save this for compost later on, or we can use it for a sachet bag and make a sauce with it with more flavor that way. You're going to take your knife, and you're going to use the weight of the knife, and as you go from the heel to the tip of the knife going across this way, we're going to make 1/4-inch slits, letting the blade of the knife go down through the onion at the same time. If you want to have your onion a finer dice, you can actually take the blade of your knife and come in from the side and make 1/4-inch slits going up. And that starts the process, but then we're going to finish it by going against the grain this way. Next, I'm going to process the cauliflower rice. At the store, you can buy a nice head of cauliflower like this, and some stores will already have the stalk of it removed, and they may even have just the actual cloves of the cauliflower available. We're going to cut this into a more manageable size, and then we're going to use this box grater that you probably saw your grandma use years ago, but it still works good today. We're going to use this section right here to actually rice our cauliflower. So first we're going to cut this into 4 pieces. removing the green stem part. But we're leaving the rest of it still connected so that we have something to hold on to while we're using the box grater. And I've got a glass bowl to catch the crumbs as I'm doing it. You're just going to use a downward motion across the blades. You can see it's doing a pretty good job making it to the size of a rice kernel. If you have a food processor, you can use the chopping blade and put it in there and just pulse it a couple times to get the right texture if you want to speed up the process that way. And I'll be right back. Cilantro is one of the ingredients that really makes this dish come out. And you can use dry cilantro, but you'd want to cut the quantity in half because it is more pungent, and that's what happens with the drying process. In order to use cilantro, we're going to chop this up, and you leave it on the stalk. It comes with a rubber band wrapped around this that I purchased in. But you're just going to use the knife and hold the bushy end of the cilantro down at the cutting board and scrape with your knife across the cilantro to get those pieces off. And it's okay to have stems in it because the stems are edible and they actually have more flavor than the leaves. So I'm still going to keep some of these stems in here. We only need 1/4 cup. Now it's time to start cooking some of the ingredients for our stuffed peppers. I've already got a pan that's been heating up over here. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of canola oil, or you can add olive oil. Just going to tilt the pan around so I can coat the bottom of the pan evenly. You're going to use a large skillet for this, because you want to try and get the moisture out of the items that we're about to put in, like onions. There's a lot of moisture in those. We're going to sweat these onions down for about 3 minutes. And now that the onions have sweated for 3 minutes, we're going to add our cauliflower rice. We're going to let these cook for 3 minutes also. And cauliflower rice is really good if you're trying to watch your carbs, so that's why we're using this instead of rice. You could use quinoa too, which is really high in protein, and you don't get the cholesterol that you would from animal fats too with that. Now that our onions and cauliflower have cooked for the total time needed, I took a can of black beans and I put this in a strainer and rinsed them to get all the moisture out of it, because we want our peppers to be roasted peppers. We don't want them to be steamed peppers. And we're going to add this to our mixture in the pan. I also have diced canned tomatoes. You can buy these with chilies or without. These happen to be without. Diced chilies, they're not spicy, but they do give you a nice chili flavor to it, if you wanted to do that. Now that I've got that combined, we're going to add some seasoning to this dish. Got some pre-made taco seasoning. You can make your own if you want to. There is a recipe listed for this that you'll see. And it has oregano, chili powder, cumin, salt. Those are just some of the key ingredients in taco seasoning. The moisture from those diced tomatoes is helping that taco seasoning blend in. Otherwise, if you're making normal tacos at home, you'll see the recipes always say to add water to do the same process. You're getting more flavor from the tomato juice. I've got this over medium heat doing this. I'm actually going to turn it up to medium high. Looks good. Cilantro. We cut this up earlier. I want to let you know that some people, when they eat cilantro, it tastes like soap. And even though I'm an executive chef, it tastes like soap to me. But I still put it in my recipes because I know what it's going to taste like to me, but I know other people that really enjoy the flavor of cilantro. It's a great thing to use. You can use another item like spinach if you want to get the same type of effect, just a different flavor profile. In fact, my wife, when she makes guacamole for me, she uses spinach because we both have the same taste of soap with cilantro. I'm going to add this to our pan. I'm going to add cheese to this mixture. I'm going to turn off my heat. I'm just going to mix this all together. Once this is combined, we're going to measure it into our bell pepper halves for our next step. And we're back to the assembly part of our peppers. I'm going to spray a baking pan with nonstick cooking spray. And you can use a spoon, or in this case, a disher. This one has an item in it that helps get the item out of the disher. And this is going to do 6 servings. So by doing 3 peppers and cutting those in half, we will have our 6 servings. When we come back, I'll have all these in the pan ready for you. Now it's ready to go into our preheated oven at 375 degrees for about 20 minutes. And keep in mind, you can also store these portions in your refrigerator for up to 5 days, or you can freeze it for up to 6 months. Our stuffed peppers have been in the oven for 20 minutes at 375 degrees. Let's take a look and see how they are. They look beautiful. They're sizzling in here. You can see the edges of the pepper are starting to curl just a little bit. Oh, push that. At this point, you could season a little bit more. We've got some cilantro that we can put on top. If you want to put a little bit more cheese on top, you could do that. And this is our finished product. I wish you could smell the aromas here right now. This is wonderful. So until we meet again, eat healthy, my friends.